Give me warp in the factor of 5, 6, 7, 8.
Space, the final frontier.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 1, Episode 15, 11001001 is over. And it has been since February 1st, 1988. But we're just getting started here on this August 27th, 2024. Some many years later, I guess it's 36 years later, here on Live Long and Podcast, a live stream here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch as we continue our mission to watch every episode of Star Trek The Next Generation and talk about it. I'm Dave Mader, and joined with me with a woman who's truly remarkable. It's Jane Mader.
Hello.
Hello, Jane.
Not Jane. Dave, not Jane.
Well, yeah, that's right. I am your better half, and happy belated anniversary to dear.
Yeah, this is appropriate.
Yes, isn't it?
And this week.
Yeah, but it's actually the anniversary of Jeff Mader and Amanda Mader as well today. And tomorrow, it will soon be the anniversary of Davin Skellhorn and Tiffany Skellhorn. Breaking news here on Live Long and Podcast. But I digress as we introduce our third panelist for this evening. It's Adam Woodward.
Hey, guys. Nice to see you both.
Nice to see you. Jody Simpson also planning to join us, I guess. He's late and tardy, and we're going to write him up. But until he gets here, we will continue without him.
I'm just going to talk for 15 minutes, okay?
Yeah, you can talk while Jody's not here, Jane. So get it all in. You too, Adam.
Get it all in.
Get it all in before Jody will start asserting his opinions on this episode. I'm not sure what to expect. I always like to get a quick little temperature reading on the panel on how they're feeling about this episode. So let's maybe start here with Jane. What's your feelings on 11001101? Oh, and before you do, I just want to give a little recap of what's this episode about, in case you didn't know. In this episode, members of an alien race called the Binars hijack a nearly evacuated Enterprise while retrofitting the computer in a space dock. Okay, and with that.
Okay, this is, I loved it. This is the type of Star Trek I love. Puzzles, mysteries, Picard and Data trying to figure stuff out. Like, this is why I love Star Trek. Like, I know some people love the Klingons and the battles and politics and whatnot. I love mysteries. So I love it. It's Star Trek to me. And
this is Star Trek at its best.
No, it's perfect. It's not the perfect episode.
Star Trek at its nearly best.
My type of Star Trek episodic episode. So
like a B plus.
It's a B plus, yeah.
Okay.
7.9.
7.9 is what Adam's coming in with. That's pretty good.
No, I'm not. I think that's what Jane is.
Oh.
Yeah, about that.
Where are you at, Adam? Not a 7.9.
This episode did not stand the test of time, in my opinion. In the world we're living in today with AI and I just felt this Riker was a little creepy.
Yes.
I don't, guys, like, it was, like I said to you in earlier episodes, I don't remember watching that many episodes or season ones because I didn't really enjoy it that much. But as I'm doing it now, I've got to like a couple, but not this one.
Not this one. Okay.
No. Actually, I liked half of it.
Half of it.
Yes.
But not Riker creeping you out.
Oh my gosh, no! Like it started off with him looking at that hologram in his quarters a few episodes ago, right?
Right, with the harp ladies.
And now here we are, where he's like totally making it with and then
Minuet?
and me. Okay, I'll wait.
I'm all here for it. Okay, and just to give you my thoughts, I'm more on the Jane end of the spectrum here. I don't really have any issues with this episode. I don't feel like it's aged poorly at all. I think that well, only from the sense that they're it's so wondrous what the holodeck is to them, I guess. But you know, and
But that's not their regular holodeck either. We
No,
get that at the end. We get that.
this is an enhanced holodeck from the Binars, who are just trying to distract the captain, the first officer. I think there's some cool scenes here too, with like, you know, the one where they have to do the auto destruct and then beam to the bridge. And there's some. I also think the music in this episode is really good.
Yeah,
Uh,
Space
bring that
Dock
up.
is great. The Space Dock, I love the Space Dock scenes. And
Space Dock looks awesome. Well, and maybe with that, we'll jump into our screenshots. When Jody gets here, we'll check in with him on his thoughts. But let's see how much we can get through before he shows up. So, and right there is kind of what I wanted to transition to was, you know, we get the shot of the Enterprise coming into Starbase 74, and we see the what looks like the Earth space dock from like the movies. Most notably, I think Star Trek 3 is where we saw this, and Star Trek 4 maybe as well. And then
Search
again,
for Spock. Search for Spock.
Search for Spock. And they brought this back in 6, and so I guess we're led to this, but this is not Earth. We're led to believe that there's, you know, perhaps many types of this kind of station, you know, elsewhere. And just before I move on, like there's been some debate of whether this structure we're looking at here, this is the actual starbase, or if the starbase is actually the planet, and that this is actually some kind of dock system just meant for the ships. But I feel like this actually is meant to be the starbase. So
Didn't it say it was orbiting around Titus 3 or something like that?
right, but I don't know, there's something in Star Trek fandom that, you know, like starbases are planets, not these kinds of structures or whatever. But I don't know if I buy it. So anyway, without that, it's a lot of like Captain Picard's voiceover as they're coming in for this computer overhaul. We see the Enterprise kind of docking into the station. I don't know, it's kind of a long drawn out scene, but it's kind of cool too to see the ship come in.
Well, what I like about it shows how big that starbase is.
Yes, and we know how big the Enterprise is on its own. Oh, well, hey, let's just pause for a moment before we get too far into it. Jody Simpson, or the binary version of him coming at us here.
True.
Hello, Jody.
Sorry about that. I got home late.
All right. Well, there's a lot of traffic out there today.
It sure was.
Looked bad, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like every time there's Rib Fest, it's like, I don't know, somehow all the traffic. It's not even set up yet, but this whole week leading up to Labor Day, it gets busy traffic. I guess people also packing in their vacations before back to school. Anyway, Jody, has this episode, as known as 11001001, has it stood the test of time?
Not really.
And it more than any other TNG season 1 episode.
Definitely more than some other season 1 episodes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you like this episode? Kinda.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite aspect of it?
Minuet.
Minuet. Actually, Minuet's one of my favorite parts of the episode, honestly. So
you're a softie, though.
I'm a softie. We're both Pisces, Jody, but you're a type 1. I'm a type 3.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
completely
care.
different. Okay, let's get into it. So, anyway, so they're all docking here. I kind of like. I know this is kind of a simple shot, but just the window, seeing the Enterprise come in.
No, it's cool.
It's cool.
It's kind of cool world building here.
Especially when this is what, 86?
88.
88. Sorry, 88. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like, well, hey guys, good job. Like, I guess this is kind of like their first leg of this new crew is over. They come into Starbase. They're not dead. And
The ship has performed magnificently, Dave.
But beyond anyone's expectations.
I found it a bit much. I'm like, is this not a standard thing to dock at a station? Like, I just found I was like, oh, I thought this would be like autopilot type thing.
I think it's just more like, we're going out to strange new worlds, and the fact that we come back alive every time, there should be sort of a lot, taking.
And it is, they've been out now for I don't know how long, but 15 episodes or whatever we're on now. And
this is the 15th.
Yeah.
So, then coming in, we get this new crew that's going to install the new computer, and we kind of see them here with the binars. But here we have Mirror Universe Picard. I don't know where they found this guy, but he so reminds me of Patrick Stewart with a goatee on. He's of course taller and has a little bit of a different face.
Interesting casting choice for sure.
Very, yeah. Like, I guess this is actually Commander Quinteros, who's like the part of the crew that he says he'll put the Enterprise together. The Enterprise D built was under his supervision. So he's bringing these binars along, who we're told are not male or female. They're sort of androgynous. Always travel in pairs, and they're very tied into their computer core, and they're very efficient. So they're going to come here, but then Picard says, "Well, you better do it in the next 24 hours, or we have an important mission we have to be on." And they said, "We thought we'd have more time." We're also reminded by Commander Quinteros that the Enterprise is late for their little docking here as well. So the binars are a little wary, but they say, "Nope, don't worry about us. Nothing to worry about here." Riker is suspicious. Picard doesn't care. And then they go to the turbo lift after this. Picard says, "What are you going to do, Riker, with your off time here?" He's like, "I've never been good at planning my vacation. Something will come up, I'm sure."
Yes, he is. We know he's good at planning his vacations.
Later on, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is he though? Because literally every vacation is just go to Ryza.
Yeah. Well, he knows what he likes, Jody. He knows what he likes.
It's like saying, I can plan good vacations because I go to Cuba all the time.
Yeah,
it's
but
more like
if he hasn't got minuet, he goes to Ryza.
He doesn't have time to go to Ryza. He's got to do something with like basically a day. He has a day here to do whatever. So
okay. I thought the creepy part of this encounter was Picard. Actually, did you pick up on this?
No.
How he said he was gonna. I forget the word. I should have wrote it down. His relaxation light or something. He was gonna
his relaxation light.
It was creepy the way he said it.
It's a metaphor,
like,
Jane.
I didn't catch that.
We know what a metaphor, Jane.
It
means something else.
What does it mean?
Probably low light and lube.
He's Picard's binar. Yeah, I guess that's probably
what. Picard's binar. Yeah, maybe.
mirror Picard. Anyway, so then we go to the bridge here where we see the binars now working. It's weird because like Riker and Picard just left 2 binars down in engineering. They literally come up this turbo lift, and then there's 3 other binars here. I don't know if they're meant to be the same binars or not, but then they move quick.
No, remember they said because they have a shorter timeline, they brought more on board.
Okay, so there's at least 5 binars, I guess, on the ship.
They can't. There's got to be an even number.
6.
Yes.
So
there he is. There's the 4th right there.
Yeah. So they're getting into it. And they're like, nothing to worry about here. We're just kind of quickly going about. He's like, you seem kind of nervous. They're like, we're not. We're just excited. Don't worry. And Wes is like, it seems like you don't believe them, Riker. He's like, I don't think I do, but I don't know why. These sus binars, very suspicious. And just as we're about to go to credits, Wesley sees they're looking very sneaky. That's sneaky eye from those binars. And a second sneaky eye, and that is our teaser for the episode. What do we think? Do you guys like the setup?
Yeah, I do. Right. I do. These are new alien to us. This is great.
Except for Wesley.
Except for Wesley.
I think the binars are really cool. This is a great idea.
I like the idea of them. Absolutely.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Yes.
We haven't like outside of this episode, and they get some references in Lower Decks, but they don't get a ton of otherwise. You know, they've been sort of forgotten in some ways. Dun dun dun. That's right, Norman. And when's Ted on again? Don't worry, Sam. He'll be here next week.
Is
Maybe.
he?
Well, he's supposed to be. We'll see if that happens. Okay, so let's get into it. This episode, interesting title, 11001001. Of course, a binary string, 8 digits, as Jody has done here in his name tonight. The machine language. Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. Then Riker runs into the Parisi Squares team with Worf and Tashiar and 2 others. We don't know. They're going to go play at the Starbase team, and they must have victory here.
How do you like these uniforms, Dave?
I love them. I would love to have one.
Love to have one.
Right.
We will be victorious at whatever the cost.
You know, they're a little revealing in the crotch. I gotta say, but otherwise, and they say, "Come on, Riker, come be our 5th man." He's like, "You can't do that. It will mess up the rhythm of Parisi Squares." You know, you got to keep going here. So
So
then you just
thing.
kick out one of the jackasses that nobody knows their names anyway. What does it matter?
You'd rather have Riker for sure than
Obviously.
the no-name jackass, Jody. But I think it's funny here that Riker at one says, "You better win for our ship," but then on the other hand, Worf says, "We will be victorious no matter the cost." He's like, "Come on, it's a friendly game. You have some fun." He's like, "Oh yeah."
If winning is not important, then Commander, why keep score?
Why keep score? You know, so it's.
I feel like that's like your mantra, Dave.
It is. It is.
Absolutely, it is.
Yes.
I learned it from Worf.
Okay.
Yeah. We shall see. Yeah. So I know. We know it's a dangerous game. This Parisi Squares. They have to wear quite a lot of padding here, I guess, especially on their one side of their body, particularly. So I always wanted. We saw it a little bit in Prodigy, but I kind of wanted this game to be kind of fully realized in another Star Trek thing in the future. Anyway, just as Tasha and the team go off to their Parisi Squares, we see some brownouts here on the Enterprise. As Riker's like, "What the hell's going on?" And they're like, "The computer stuff is happening. What do you think?" He's like, "Oh yeah, okay." Then Riker goes and checks in with Jody and Data, who are painting, and we want to see here if Data can be an original artist. He's painting some eggs or something.
Yeah, there's some sort of alien eggs.
Right. And he's like, "Hey, I want some notes here. This has got to be something for the scholars, you know?" And they're like, "What do you mean?"
Project may turn out to be of interest to scholars in the future.
Really?
Well, of course, think about it. A blind man teaching an android how to paint. That's got to be worth a couple of pages in somebody's book.
I do love. I don't know if you caught his smirk when he said it.
I did.
Yeah. Do you have it?
Well, no.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I love that smirk.
Yeah, that's Frakes is the got the golden grin, like 100%. You know, and those eyes and the charm. You know, babyface Frakes as he is at this time. So
before he manned up,
before he manned up. Then he goes to see Riker goes to. This is a real Riker episode. It's maybe one of the first like real features of a particular character. He goes to see Crusher, who's like distracted. She's like, there's some cyberneticist guy on the starbase that she wants to go see. He's like a famous guy. Do you think Data would want to go talk to him, or he'd want to talk to Data, since he's a cybernetic life form? But I guess this is more to do with like cybernetic prosthetics is probably how it, or something like that applies to the medical thing. So anyway, I guess the idea too here is that like everybody's kind of enjoying being at the dock. They're all kind of going off to do the recreational things, which is leaving mostly Riker just kind of on the ship by himself as the sort of the watchman. So he goes to the holodeck, and they're like, "Hey, we did some enhancements." The Binars tell him to the thing. Would you like to try it?
Would you like to try the enhancement?
Would you like to try? They always finish each other's sentences, the Binars. So it's some fun bit of little physical acting we get from them here, as they also do like their little computer language talk with each other, going back and forth. He's like, "What are you doing there?" We're just talking. And
there is a scene with Wesley, and Wesley is the same thing. Like Wesley's like, what are you guys doing? What's that weird noise that you're making? It's like, can you not clue in, Wesley? Like, This isn't rockets. They're not mating, you dumbass. Like, what do you think they're doing?
It's also for the audience, just to help us,
guess,
put it together.
Kid's supposed to be so damn smart, but he's so stupid when it comes to some things.
Right. Well, I guess so. But what's Riker going to do with his time?
Jazz.
New
Orleans, Bourbon Street Bar, New Orleans, circa 1958.
Circa 1958. Give me something here, and they're like, okay. And first he says St. Louis, and then he changes it to New Orleans. I'm
confused here. Okay, so they upgrade this.
Mhm.
Okay, but in the pilot episode, we see Data, and he's in like a forest, and it looks fantastic. So what's so damn special about this? Maybe I guess
Smoke.
the AI
Smoke.
Maybe there's smells or something.
Oh, and they could do neon now. Oh, sweet.
I feel like I think it's the atmosphere is what we're supposed to appreciate here. But consider we just saw the Great Goodbye, which was like the Dixon Hill, which is no better than this, really.
No,
but
exactly. Yeah.
But there's something with the music. There's something with the lighting that has this real romantic
Je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. Exactly, Jane. As they're getting into it. Hey, give me a trio, a band.
A trio. Piano, bass, and drums, and a bone for me.
A bone for me.
Oh no.
That's got to be a famous quote.
And a bone
That wasn't the bone he was talking about, though.
No, he gets a bone.
He does lots of boning.
Then he says, "Give me an audience," and they're like, "Here you go." He's like, "Whoa, this is not a 2 a.m. audience, right? I need something less." And we get
More
the first
intimate.
more intimate, and they're like, "Oh, we know what you mean." Lady. So we get the first one here, but apparently blondes and jazz seldom go together.
Blondes and jazz seldom go together.
I'm
That doesn't make any
offended as a
sense to me.
blonde person.
You don't like jazz.
Exactly, and that's why we seldom go together.
I like jazz.
I like the song.
I
I
like
like the
jazz.
solo that Riker does in this episode. So I don't hate all jazz. I just hate the stupid jazz. Anyway, so then we go into. He goes, "Well, no blonde.
It
Give me
couldn't be
something-"
better. Like, this is 80s. Like, perfect. Like, look at that hair, the makeup. It's awesome.
Very 80s. The rosy cheeks. It's all there. Then we get the second version because he wanted something more. I don't know, less blonde, I guess.
More Beverly.
More Beverly, which he's like, well, now that is truly
Now that is truly exceptional.
Truly outrageous. But not quite what he's looking for. Can you give me something more sultry?
More sultry.
And then we get the final iteration here at the bar. That materializes is Minuet herself, as played by Carolyn McCormick from Law and Order, one of the best shows ever. And she is gets the slow reveal up here with her little glass and everything else, and amazing. If that's what you call an enhancement.
If this is what you call enhancement, you've got a gift for understatement.
I guess they don't have porno in the future.
No porno. They only have women playing harps, Jody. That's it.
This is a world I don't want to live in.
Right. So then, he's going along. So she's kind of frozen at first, like she's not reacting, and then he has to get close to her for her to start. Even the band doesn't quite start right away, too. Like there's sort of like a moment where they like activate, kind of Westworld style almost. And then, I got Riker and her going back and forth. The Binars see, oh, he's into this, and this is part of their nefarious plan to steal the ship. So they're like, let's make her
It
even
wasn't
better.
part of the plan, though. That's the problem here. But anyway.
The plan was to get hit for Riker because Riker was their backup, right? Picard is not part of the plan, right? So he's got, but the weird part is at the end, Picard and Riker have to do it together.
Yes.
In order,
Exactly.
so if Picard hadn't come, this whole plan would have blown up in the Binar's face.
Yeah.
Unless somehow Riker figured out how to use two hands at once across those two panels, but It's Picard who even figures that out. It's not even Riker who figures that out. Anyway, so they leave Riker in the holodeck as they're getting into it, and basically, Minuet's job here is just to keep Riker occupied for as long as possible. So then back to the bridge, the Binars are working away. They're looking a little frantic here, Wesley's noticing some stuff, and he's like, "Hey, Picard's doppelganger, can I talk to you a question about the binders?" He says, "Ask them yourself." They're like, "Hey, what's with that language?" What Jody said, and they're like, "Come on." They got little pocket protector things. Yeah,
they're data modules.
Right. Well, they're kind of almost
They're their
cybernetic
caching system,
right? Like as in cyborg. In some ways, right? You know, I wonder if any have been assimilated by the Borg, because they kind of have that sort of.
That'd be good if they did. Oops.
Do they have to be assimilated in pairs? I wonder.
Oh,
maybe. So but they explain that like this whole thing with their evolution came over a long time, that they did, you know, they were just any other species, and then they adapted to this to become more computer focused, and that their language, we're told by Quinteros, is like as close to true binary machine language as any kind of language can get, or thought process. Anyway, so Picard says, "I'm gonna go check in on Riker in the holodeck. I'm hoping he's not having sex." When I walk in,
and if you're Picard, do you go into a holodeck with Riker in it? Like, isn't it like
without knocking?
He's onto something. Like,
for me, this is where it got very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we get Riker's whole, his whole plan solo here. I won't play it all for you, but it's all right.
I don't know about you guys, but 2 in the morning, this is putting me right to sleep.
You want something a little busier? Because she says she doesn't like Dixieland because you can't dance to it. I don't think you can necessarily dance to this song.
Well, slow dance.
Slow dance. But Dixieland, you can't dance to it? I don't know.
The whole point of Dixieland was you could dance to it.
I thought so too, but maybe Minuet's dumb, but so anyway, this is something Frakes can do in real life, right? That's why they incorporated this in the whole trombone thing. This is actually when I
still don't think he's the one that's playing in the actual audio, but
probably
they probably dub it over.
They probably got someone, a little.
He probably did it on set.
We'll see if that comes up in fun facts. But when I went into high school music, grade 10, I specifically chose the trombone because of Riker.
Really?
Yeah. I wanted a bone for me too. So
I played the cello.
Oh, strings. And then we see this
these two guys aren't great actors. They must be real musicians.
Yeah, like this bass player and the piano player.
Acting took me right out of the show. I'm like,
they're like, "Hey, man, that woman's into you," And he's like, "You think so?" The piano player says, "Don't give up your day job," or whatever. But she's into Riker.
Did Roddenberry write this episode?
No, it was Morris Hurley, but he's one of Roddenberry's favorite guys.
Did you see how many times that the light caught her necklace?
Oh yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Whoa.
That's the enhancement. They have lens flares now.
Yeah, how can you not fall in love?
Joss Whedon is very happy.
How can you not fall in love with her here?
Can I ask you about what you guys think about her hair? She's got like helmet hair, like this helmet of hairspray.
This was the 80s.
Is this a wig, you think?
At all.
My mom had this hair.
This is hairspray. This is Carolyn McCormick from Law and Order. And
yes, you keep mentioning that like it's something we're excited about, but we're not.
Jane, to answer your question, there's nothing about Minuet that does anything for me.
Yeah, there is literally nothing for me.
And actually, even the other two, like none of them.
The blonde was okay. But I'm also a blonde guy. So.
No way. It's Catherine McCormick. Minuet. Anyway, so then we get one of my favorite lines ever in Star Trek from here, from Riker.
What's a knockout like you doing in a computer-generated gin joint like this?
Yeah, that's a good line.
God, writing is terrible in this.
He's like, "You feel so real. You're so," and then he starts to kiss her. And romance.
This is when Picard comes in, and at this point, like if I was Picard, Picard's like, "Keep going, keep going."
No,
look at his face.
He's just like looking around, thinking, "Oh, look, don't stop on my account.
Don't stop on my part. You have at her."
I wish it was a little raunchier here between them at this point. Like
It was pretty raunchy. It was really.
It was just they were just making out.
It's very awkward.
The looks from both of them. Picard like grossed me out even more because he was right in with.
Yeah, Picard's just like, yeah.
Well, this is like where this is going. Like, it was odd to me. Like,
it's uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable. The whole.
I was very.
Did I tell you how I treated
everything
my
with
last
Minuet
first
is
officer, Riker? Let me go.
You see, like she's got this lipstick on his face, and then she has to like wipe it off. You know, it's you can see her having even more fun with it.
And Picard's like, "Wow, this is an interesting sex dungeon."
And then he's like, "Hey, I want you to meet my hologram here, Captain." You know, and he's speaking French. You know,
Incroyable. Vous êtes parisienne.
Au fond,
Why
c'est
is
vrai, nous
this
sommes toutes
incredible?
parisiennes.
Ah oui. Au fond, nous sommes tous parisiennes.
Why is this so incredible to him? It's a fucking computer. Of course, it can talk French.
he's just amazed.
You can buy little translator devices now that do that. Like,
Well, maybe that part didn't age so well.
You spoke to me in French.
You spoke to me in French.
No
Who
shit.
could have ever thought that? You know,
they have universal translators, and he's excited about this.
He's excited.
Like,
what's more exciting is that his French is very
terrible,
unconvincing. It's basically a man who doesn't speak French trying to speak French.
Yeah, I understood it, and that's how bad it was. If I can understand,
If you can understand it, they're speaking it very badly from a French person's point of view, because they love to talk fast. Even the Parisians, which I don't think Minuet's meant to be a Parisian, but maybe she is. I don't know. So she feels like more of an American. Anyway, so then they're serving him wine, and they're keeping the captain going here, and basically their job is distraction, right?
And the whole time Picard's like, she wants a threesome.
Oh no! Look at Riker's eyes. It was so.
He's like, I bet he could do some hammering.
Is this really creeping you out? Really?
Oh, totally.
Oh yeah, and even the fact that she wasn't real. It's just those two guys in a room. Like
technically, it's just two guys in a room with a hologram.
With a piece of AI.
With a sophisticated hologram.
Oh.
Anyway, let's move on to the eggs that Data's painting.
I rather watch Data paint.
But then this is where Wesley calls Data, says, "Hey, there's something weird happening with the antimatter containment. I don't know what's happening." Data says, "Don't bother the captain until I check this out." So then he heads down to engineering with Jody. They're like, "That's weird. It says the ship's going to blow up in 4 minutes." So they tell Wesley, "Hey, we better evacuate the ship pronto. There's no time to even call the captain about this. We have to go."
So,
and
but the captain's on the ship.
I guess they don't know where he is.
No, they call him and he doesn't answer. So they
call him and he doesn't answer.
Oh,
so they're like, and it's too urgent. They have to keep going here. This is where Wesley's like, "Should we call the captain or get his permission?" And he's like, "Nope, we got to keep going." So they order the evacuation. We get some stock shots from other episodes, including in engineering, where they're supposed to be.
Where nobody was, by the way. Nobody was there.
Nobody was here, right? But we get this shipwide announcement.
Did the Biners orchestrate that, or
what with the antimatter? Yes.
No, that no one was in engineering. Like they seemed surprised.
Well, the ship is supposed to be fairly derelict.
Yeah, because the idea is everyone's on the base.
Station.
Yeah.
Well,
it seems weird that the entire crew is there, but
then when they're doing the evacuation, there's tons of people.
There still are. It's not like the entire crew's off the ship, but it's a lot. No. So
anyway, this scene gave me chills. I loved it. Oh my god, when Data's like, "Oh,
go!" Yeah, like we have to.
This is not a drill. I was like,
yeah, we see the kids getting beamed off.
Wait, go back a scene. One more. This was funny because it seemed like everybody's like pushing to get onto the transport.
Well, there's only like 4 minutes, like from the time Data calls it, right? And so it's like, do they have time to all beam off here?
It should have been 10 minutes, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but they keep going here. We see some leave on the airlocks, and
I like how some of them are just walking at a brisk pace too.
They're like,
They're like 4 minutes. I got time.
Tasha and Worf show up from their Parisi squares, I guess, and they're like, "Where's the captain?" And they're like, "No one knows. The ship's about to blow up, and we're about to throw it out here." So Data and Geordi kind of do the last rites here as they kind of send the ship out on autopilot. hoping that they've got everybody. They beam over to the base, and I think this is when they realize the captain and Riker aren't here.
They're like, wait a second, that guy's not Picard.
Yeah, he looks like we all thought it was Picard.
We all thought it was Picard
from the back.
Down in a mirror.
Yeah.
Turns out that's not Picard. He's
and
taller.
they're like, we have to stop it. And Quintero's like, no time. Look, your ship's leaving right now. As it's being backed out. If this ship blew up, inside the base, it would be pretty disastrous. So they have to get it out. But then all of a sudden, it just warps away. It's completely fine. And they're kind of left going, huh? What the hell?
Well, I would
so
assume they would want to warp it away anyway, because you don't want it near the star base.
I don't know if you have to go to warp speed, especially when your antimatter is about to stop working anyway. But I don't know. They wanted to get some distance away for sure. And anyways, then we get all these shots of the empty Enterprise, like it's at red alert. I guess there's a lot of like handheld shots in this episode where it's like the cameras. Like it's not even a steady cam. It's just kind of like shaky and moving around and whatever. It kind of gives you this kind of feeling.
I think the final scene was really bad. It was just like this red wall, very slowly, like panning. It was a bad shot.
And then that's juxtaposed. Like we have all like this red alert and the emptiness, and then we go here to the holodeck, and they're completely.
So this scene, Dave, this is the scene. If I can just summarize.
Sure.
Riker is completely into her. Look at him. He's looking into her eyes. He's completely falling for her, and then Picard is great. Look at her. She's almost alive. Like this is like, they can make woods, they can make ski slopes, but this is just amazing.
Just amazing. He gives us this whole speech, which I thought was kind of interesting, like that, computers can figure out what's based on our input. This made me think, this is where I think the episode did age well, because I was like, he's kind of predicting what the intuitive AI, systems that we're starting to have now and here in 2024.
We can't say that word on this.
We can.
Channel.
We can.
Okay.
I suppose it's an understandable progression. Computers make decisions based on input, and we humans give off a multitude of subtle signs that communicate our emotions.
Subtle
signs. Like Picard's hungry eyes.
Exactly. Very subtle. And then Picard's like, okay, well, this is, I think Riker wants to get a bone for him. So he's going to try to take off here.
He's like, I don't want to be part of this threesome.
I think I'm going to pass on the threesome. And Minuet's like, no, you have to stay. He's like, come on, I got to go. He tries to be polite. She's like, more wine. He's like, when he stands up, she's like, you can't leave. He's like, why? Why can't he leave? What's happening? And then she kind of, freezes a little bit here, kind of knows that she's failed in her mission as they go to the holodeck arch and they open the doors and they see the ship's at red alert. They call the computer here. And sometimes the computer has like a man's voice in this episode, and sometimes it has a woman. It's Mitchell Barrett.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Anyway, so they're like, the ship's evacuated. No one's here. The ship was because there was antibiotic containment. And the Picard goes, why wasn't I notified? They go, unknown. Okay, and what's going on here? So they kind of go back to Minuet, and they're like, this is what the hell is going on? The Binars have stolen the ship. And she says, I don't really know why or what they're up to. I just know that I was meant to keep you distracted for as long as possible. That was my purpose. So they leave back on the starbase. Data's like saying to Quinteros, the Picard doppelganger, maybe we can send a ship after the Enterprise. He's like, nope, no ships, not for the. I always love how Starfleet has no ships, nothing that can help.
Never have a ship where they need one.
Never have a ship that's fast enough or can get anywhere or that's fixed in time or anything. So because they mentioned the Trieste, which is too far away, the Melbourne, which is at least 48 hours to be fixed.
Like space is big, I get that, but strategically, you wouldn't want all your ships not near your assets. Like that would make much sense.
Or non-operational, all the time.
Well, sometimes you have to wait until next Tuesday.
You gotta wait
till
Tuesday.
Didn't we take a lesson from Pearl Harbor? Really?
Yeah. This feels like Starfleet stretched a little thin at the very least. Anyway, so then back on the Enterprise, Picard and Riker trying to figure what to do. Right before this commercial break here, we see they're going to the weapons room. They're getting serious.
Loved it. I was like, yeah.
Did we ever see the weapons room ever again?
Not really.
No, because later on the ships they just have like weapons lockers everywhere.
Oh, I think we
weapons
did we not-
lockers.
What about when Picard got turned into a kid in that one? Did they not go to the weapons room?
I think they have like what's called an armory, which
Yeah,
is like
the armory. or something.
which is kind of the same idea, but I don't know. Yeah, but
The weapons
we get it.
room.
They're here for a weapon.
Yeah, I don't know
So-
why this isn't called armory.
Yeah, that's normally what you would call it on a ship. And then so then they get their phasers, and then Riker goes, "Hey, the bridge is this way." And Picard goes, "We're not going to the bridge. We're going to engineering to blow this up. We're going self-destruct. We're not playing around here." You're just like, "Oh, okay, sure." So
Loved it.
Yeah, we
You
got this
were
whole
a captain, Riker. You'd figure that out.
Yeah. The captain of the Melbourne is just a little 2 years from retirement. That's right, because they'll offer the Melbourne to Riker in Encounter at Farpoint before it gets destroyed at Wolf 359. Good thing he didn't take that job. Anyway, so this is the one thing that the captain, the first officer, must be in total agreement upon. It's the only function on the ship. So they go through the whole sequence of like, putting their codes in and everything else. It's very dramatic. I love the music. I love the way the scene's shot. Exciting.
So good.
No, this part's great.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have a minuet in the scene, you're good.
Yeah, that timer was a little 80s there. That
Very
didn't
much.
age well.
Not only that, but like,
Sure, I had an alarm clock like that.
guys, could you have at least matched the fucking font somehow? Like, like this is so like, there's nothing on the ship that uses this font but this.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's serious.
And then later on, you see them do it again in another episode, but then it's on the screen and it's animated and all this shit.
They upgrades. They got the computer upgraded. So
I guess maybe they're putting that in at the.
they're putting that in on this install.
Yeah.
So they have 5 minutes to get to the bridge, take over the ship, or the ship's gonna blow up. Picard says. We also see here that there's been this massive data dump in the computer. They see all this binary code and they don't really know what to do with it. So part of the mystery continues here. As that clock is ticking, they better get up here. They're moving along. They're heading to the bridge. They can't use the turbolift access. This was the part that was also weird to me. The binaries want their help. You would think they wouldn't make it so hard to reach the bridge. I guess.
Well, and they already have a good reputation with Starfleet. Why wouldn't they just ask?
Well, that was the whole thing. It was like, why didn't you just ask for help? He's like, there was a good chance we would have said yes. They're like, but there was a small chance you'd say no, and we couldn't.
So you should steal a ship, make an enemy of a Federation. That makes perfect sense.
Well, it doesn't. But they're like, we'll face the music at the hearing. We're okay. This is where Data gets all sad. He's like, I should have been painting. I should have been on the bridge. I don't need rest. I don't need recreation. It's probably my least favorite part of the episode.
Still better than Minuet.
No way.
I didn't mind it.
And I don't know. They're like trying to get subspace communication here with the ship. So we go back to the Enterprise with Riker and Picard, which I love. Like they're like, we're going to the bridge. We're gonna totally like storm this bridge. You're gonna beam to the front. I'm gonna beam to the back, and then we're gonna phaser all these binars when we get up there if we have to. It's like, see, we see Riker gets the transporter in, and they're ready to go as they exciting scene. But once they get there, they're like, no phaser fire was required, as it's just a bunch of sleepy binars unconscious on the ground. So they're like, help us, we're not really good at being pirates.
I like their little fur on the side of their head.
Is it fur or skin?
Fur. There's little patches of fur, like little soul patches.
Oh, that's like their
I
hair.
never noticed that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I always thought it was just part of like their coloring, but all right.
No, I saw like little fur draft.
Yeah, that one's got like a kind of like mutton chop, but on like the back of his neck.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that was the thing, is that we're told that they're non-binary, even though they're called binars. Riker keeps calling them gentlemen and all this stuff in the episode. The auto destruct, 2 minutes left, but they can just shut that off. So the drama of that is sort of.
See, that was on the screen.
Okay.
Why are they using the same font?
This is where the music was really good. It was like this, almost like a Michael Myers, like instrumental. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 minutes. 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 2
Yeah. So they can't even talk to the binars. They thought they were dead at first, and then they realized they're not. Then they look down at the planet. They also figure out that there's this massive computer dump that they've come from their planet. They start kind of piecing together the mystery that Jane liked here. So they go back to the holodeck to find Minuet and see what else she knows about this. And they're like, she doesn't have a lot of information other than to tell them that they were just trying to save their world, more or less. And she explains that the captain being here was just kind of a coincidence, not really part of the plan, just kind of happenstance. So they go back to the ship, and this is where they talk to, like, I need to talk to Data. Can you put Data on the line? I don't know how to solve a problem without consulting him. And they're like, we think they want us to transfer their file, but we don't know what file to look for. He's like, well, maybe it'd be a simple name like Binar language. And they're like, maybe that's it, Data. In groups of 8 or 16 pairs, I think is how the Binar language works. Right? They're like, we have to do it. So let's do a search. And then so we see just Riker doing random searches of ones and zeros, eventually finding a file, but he can't get in by himself. This is where I think the plot kind of falls apart a little bit, because if Picard wasn't supposed to be here, and then to do this they need both of them. There's no sense to that. But maybe they thought Riker would just sit sort of in between and left hand, right hand.
Well, he is Riker. He's good with his hands.
I kind of too. I do like how like Picard and Riker kind of they move in sync here. There's kind of like a synchronized dance that they go through as they input the.
Did you guys like what's with these chairs?
Well, the chairs. I don't know if I have a good shot of them.
Part of the
they come out of like the wall, right? So that's why
they come out from underneath them.
Yes, they're not always used,
and they're basically just like Lego blocks. Like they don't look comfortable at all.
No,
I don't even know if they have wheels. I guess they do, but
well, they must have something.
Anyway, so they this is where Picard's like, they have an amazing, fascinating language and computers. Cool, huh? I don't know. He has kind of a moment here, and then the Binars are like, "Oh, we're all better. You've saved our planet. Thank you." They're like, why didn't you just ask for help? You might have said no. But they even have to consult why they didn't say no before they give an answer. That's my favorite part. We couldn't take the risk because there was some kind of supernova that messed up created an EMP. It was going to mess up their computer core. So they miscalculated. That's why they needed the help desperately. And they had to make sure and the Enterprise was the only ship with a large enough mobile computer to do this, I guess. So there was all like these things, even though the Enterprise is not the only ship of its kind. It's not the only Galaxy class, but
well, it was supposed to be there a week earlier. They had this whole thing planned. It was all.
Well, but they were still going to steal it just a week earlier.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have probably passed out, I guess, in the original plan. All right. And they're like, Picard's like, well, no one's harmed. I guess it's fine. Then he does this whole thing where he takes the con. He's like, warp 2, set a course, engage. Pretty good, huh? So good, Captain.
It's like, that was the best captain I've ever had.
that was some good conning. The Enterprise flies back here. I don't know how long it took them to get home, but they're coming back in. We see that the dock's here. We see people coming back over to the Enterprise, and then Tash is like, "I'm here to arrest the Binars," and they're like, "Yeah, we're ready for our hearing. We'll face the music. We don't care, the jazz music, with your bone, Riker." So then Riker's like, "Okay, we've saved the day. Can I go back to the holodeck?"
Now I'm gonna go bone the hologram.
Right, and he goes, "I'm ready now. It's time." And he goes, "Hello," but it's not the same Minuet, is it?
He probably still did it with one of them, though.
Of course he did.
And you want to talk about helmet hair? Let's talk about this hair.
that is a wig.
That's
U.S. was real. That's a wig. Yeah.
Riker's heart is broken. This is not the woman he knew. The Binar. Why didn't he just ask the Binars to make it permanent? Whatever it is they did.
Probably because Picard said, "Don't." He loses first officer to the.
Yeah, he's like, "This is dangerous. Don't let him."
Yeah. So he goes back to the holodeck, kind of mopey. Interesting that Troy's not in this episode either, right? And at all.
Well, in season 1, she's not in all the episodes. I think there's like 3 episodes.
There's a few. Yeah, I know, but this is an episode about Riker's love life, and when you remember when she was getting married to Buddy there, and he was moping around and being a real pain. But he's free to pursue.
But imagine if Troy was in this episode. Oh God, would it suck?
It wouldn't make it better. I'm not saying we need Troy in the episode.
Definitely wouldn't make it better. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting choice.
Jody, can you imagine if she's the one that caught him on the holodeck and went down and sat with him?
Oh, now that would have been awesome.
Ooh.
That would
remember.
I didn't
Snow
even
from a
notice
holodeck
she
can
was
make you
on.
sick. It wasn't the snow in the holodeck. It was their ski trip or wherever they were coming back from. Anyway, so she was one of a kind. They're leaving the starbase now to head off to their next adventure, and that is the episode in plot. So, have I convinced you, Minuets?
My name is now the actual name of the episode because that is what it translates to.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Oh. Accent aigu, accent grave.
That's right.
Something like that.
You spoke to me in French.
Dave, you're already married to her. I don't think you need to keep coming on to her.
Oh, I do. 6 years, Jody.
I know.
6 years.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I was there when it happened, by the way.
You were there. You're Adam. Do you have any fun facts with Adam?
I do.
Oh, that wasn't good. Let's do this again. Bring it
Okay.
up.
Need more.
Bring it up. Fun facts with Adam.
Thank you.
Fun
Thank you. Thank
facts
you.
with
Dave.
Adam.
I love it.
Okay, that's better. That's better, Dave.
Okay, so Jonathan Frakes is actually able to play the trombone, as you guys noted, and has done so since the age of 9. However, the producers wanted a more professional sound, so they hired musicians to overdub his playing. No effort was made to match the overdub and to the visual image. As a result, it often looks like the actor has no idea what he's doing. This would be repeated through the series every time Riker plays.
So, but like
He knows how to hold it, though.
Can't they like pre-record the music and then have Frakes play that to that?
It doesn't sound like they were putting too much effort into this.
I don't think it's a throwaway thing. I don't think they care that much.
Yeah. As somebody who plays the trombone, I don't notice that he doesn't know what he's doing or anything.
Dave, when was the last time you touched a trombone?
20 years ago.
Okay.
But he plays.
He does.
I have played. If that pleases you in its description.
So moving right along, the computer voice.
Why does the banner say ratings? That's a good question.
We're not there yet.
Damn it!
The computer voice informing the various decks of which transporters to travel on is actually Michael Dorn.
Really?
Oh, really?
That computer voice?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I was wondering why there's 2 different computer voices.
Deep voice. That's for sure.
Jonathan Frakes noted this episode was to him one of the highlights of the first season. Of course it was. It was a fabulous show. There was.
I agree.
I loved
this is
it.
the kind of chances we took in the first season that when we worked, they worked great.
I'm not drunk.
I loved it.
This episode's great. I'm with you, Frakes.
These characters, the Biners, why haven't they returned? That's a very well conceived idea. It should be a regular to fix the ship and the engines or whatever the hell they do.
They should just have some binars on the ship.
Yes.
To do
This episode won an Emmy Award for the outstanding sound editing for a series.
I was going to say, it wasn't
more than
for acting, I can tell you that.
We love how you brought in Michael Dorn.
The Biners themselves were played by young women. Children were considered for the parts, but the production team thought that might be too problematic because of the limited time they could work each day. Each actress was required to wear extensive makeup, which was created by the makeup supervisor, Michael Westmore. A large single bald cap was made of the same mold for each actress, which required some trimming to get it fit properly. To cover up problems with seams of the cap, the fake hair was added, there you go, Jane, to the Biners' necks. Each actress was also controlled with flashing light inside the apparatus on the headpiece through a battery pack attached to the waistband of the costumes. To disguise their voice, a pitch was lowered post-production. It was originally planned to add subtitles over the conversations between themselves. I would have liked to seen that.
Interesting. Yeah, they all women actresses, but then he keeps calling them boys and gentlemen and everything else in the descriptions.
Was the 80s.
Yeah. Data claims he's familiar with the U.S.S. Trieste in Clues in 1991. It was followed up with Data claims that he served upon that vessel.
There you go.
Oh.
I know the Trieste. Too slow.
Too slow. This episode was originally intended to be filmed and aired before The Big Goodbye, with the latter's holodeck malfunction explaining the cause for the binary modification. So I guess they had to hold it.
Because it was at the end of Data Lore. They're like, we have to head for our new computer core refit, and that doesn't come. That was Data Lore was 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The music that Enterprise D is entering the space dock to was the second time we've heard this. It was originally used in the motion picture when Kirk goes out to check the refitted Enterprise with Commander Scott, and used again in the Wrath of Khan when the Enterprise is preparing to leave space dock.
Like like that suspense music.
I guess so.
No,
No, that's original series. That
it's
one.
No, it's like the that one.
Modified effect shots of the space dock were from Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, are used to represent Starbase 74. The most notable difference...
I knew I saw those somewhere. All right.
Yeah, the most noticeable difference is the U.S.S. Enterprise D added in place of the Enterprise. The planet is retouched to look like a generic blue globe instead of Earth, and the aspect ratio cropped from theatrical to television.
Right.
Stock footage from this episode was reused later in Remember Me in 1990, Ensign Row, and Phantasms.
Yeah, I love the design of the space dock.
Yeah,
and I wish he saw it more.
This is the first time that Wesley Crusher has the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw what
I don't
happened.
remember him being actually told that.
No.
Yeah, he did get told that.
He didn't get told that. No.
Yeah, he did.
He did?
The card says you have the bridge.
No, I think Riker was the one that said it. Well, it could have been Picard. I guess it would have had to have been Picard. But no, it was definitely there because I remember him saying that, and he's like, "Yes, Captain," or whatever he says.
So
And
here's
I'm
the
like,
conversation between Minuet and Picard. Minuet, nice to meet you. How wonderful to see you. Picard, amazing. Are you Parisienne? Minuet, basically it's true. We're all Parisians. Picard says, yes, deep down we're all Parisians. The spirit of the city will always enchant my soul. Was that fun? No. Okay.
It wasn't fun when I understood it when it was being said in the episode either.
Minuet was the original name for a female android Starfleet officer in the original story for Data Lore.
See, now that would have been good.
I loved when. Okay, keep going, Adam. But I'm going to tell you guys something else here.
All right.
He's going to let us know.
Details with Dave. Okay. The original script also had a scene with Terrence Epstein and Beverly Crusher are chatting in the Starbase lounge just before the evacuation of Enterprise D, making Epstein appear on screen, establishing him as only being 26 years old.
So who is Terrence Epstein?
Like
he was the guy that she was so excited to go meet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the cyberneticist guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But how could he lecture at her medical school if he's only that young?
Well, she's only been out of medical school for like 10 years.
No, Wesley's like 15.
I don't know.
Who
cares?
The binary, that's why they didn't do the scene, by the way, I guess. Maybe that's why.
I guess.
The binary species are somewhat similar to Telosians from the Cage in 1966. They were androgynous, aliens with male-sounding voices, but played by females. In both cases, the effect suggests an alien nature to the observer. The real-life concept of binary gender identity was later explored in Star Trek Discovery in 2017, beginning in the 3rd season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's okay. The trombone piece played by Riker is The Nearness of You by Hoagie Carmichael. The same tune can be heard in the score where Riker re-enters the holodeck to find Minuet is no longer there. He's also seen playing that opening notes in the tune of that tune in Conundrum after getting amnesia. And I think that's where I'll leave it for tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Adam. I'm just going to tell you guys, remember that episode that comes later? It's called Future Imperfect, where, there's this holodeck program where, Riker thinks he has a son. He thinks he's lost all his memory. And then they show the mom, and then it's Minuet. Wasn't that the best?
That was awesome.
Wasn't that the best when they brought her back for that? And it was like, that's how I knew it was fake, because she was a hologram, but you didn't know that from my mind scan.
I did like that. I did like that a lot.
Right.
The only good use for a Minuet.
And I also like the kid in that episode too.
Yeah,
she was busy doing a lot of Law and Order, guys, and for her to break from her schedule was not a big deal. It was a big deal. All right, let's get to our ratings. As we put a number here on 11001001. Anyone want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
I'm giving this a 6.
6 from Adam. I'll check the comments here. We have a 7.5 from Norman and a 6 from Sam. Okay. What about from Jody?
I was thinking 6 as well.
6 from Jody. All right, Jane.
8.
8 from Jane.
Yeah.
And I'm going 8.5. I think this is a pretty strong episode. Good Lord, he says. And so we're kind of splitting the difference here. We're averaging at 7.1. It's okay. I don't know. We have some different opinions. It's one of our higher rated episodes, but if you look at it, just our averages for the season, like, I don't know. According to this, me and Adam like it the most. And Gavin
that's also
really
based on how many.
I haven't rated a couple though. I think that might.
I went through and rated all the ones.
Yeah, I got to go in and rate rate mine.
Right. Because we're missing a couple here from Adam and who else. But okay. So anyway, our next episode is called Too Short a Season. It's an episode where this old admiral guy shows up, and
Admiral Jameson.
Admiral Jameson. And he's just kind of a jerk. And he wants to get the Phantom of Youth or something. Anyway, so we have 2 panelists already in place. One is Adam. One is supposed to be Ted Mater. So we will be searching for a 4th panelist as we head into that. Look out for that next week as for the next episode on Star Trek: The Next Generation review shows. Anything else? Any final thoughts on this before we close out tonight, guys?
Good riddance.
Good, no, it just makes me excited for the better episodes to come. Like all the.
The problem is you have to wait until season 3 for that. Season 2 isn't much better than season 1.
I do like next week's episode a lot.
Next week's episode is campy. That's what I like about it.
And
the amount of stunt doubles in next week's episode is phenomenal.
What do you mean? Stunt double? It was makeup.
We'll see.
Was it?
Was it?
Makeup. It was all makeup.
It was a fake mustache. Okay, make sure to check out our other content here on the channel, including every Monday night. We're talking about an episode of The Orville. We were on last night. We'll be on next Monday as well. Jody Simpson.
Jaluja!
Jaloja. Yeah.
Jaloja. Sorry.
Jaloja. That's when you pee off a mountain.
Only once a year, though.
Only once a year. Look out for that. We're into season 2 now on The Orville. We've covered shows like Prodigy, shows like Discovery. We're going to be, soon talking about Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds. And if you want to hear us talk about an episode of Star Trek, chances are we have a podcast, or we're going to have a podcast about it in the near future. What's this comment? Adam, maybe the reason why you like the first season is because you do not visit much, so you have a feeling that you're watching because you don't watch this much.
I would agree. I think that there is a little bit of the surprise how good these are. Some of them.
Code of Honor isn't as bad as everybody says it is.
Some of us like it more than others, but hey, I agree that it gets better. And maybe I'm not leaving enough room for the future. I'm gonna have to get out 11s, but it's I think very highly of most episodes of this series, with not that many exceptions. Next week's episode is maybe one of them. So if you want to see me tear something down, maybe not. Maybe I'll watch it and go, you know what, this is a good one. it's you have to find out. You have to tune in and find out. Don't take my word for it until I give my word on it.
Well, the best episode of this season is Conspiracy.
Yeah, that's the
By
finale.
far.
Though.
That's a good one.
Oh no, it's the penultimate.
You know what?
It's actually
It's good, but it never gets revisited, so it makes it bad.
Yeah, I don't know.
until we revisit it.
I thought it did once, didn't it not?
No, it never got.
Not at all.
Well, the guy comes back.
Yeah, he
one of the
comes
people
back
that
and
was in it
evaluates them.
Yeah,
Same
evaluates them.
actor.
But like that's it was like it could have been carried into season 2 so well, and it never. They never did.
Well, they did with the
sorry.
Romulans.
We don't
they
have
did.
time for that when Troy gets pregnant.
But the Romulans don't show up till the neutral zone, so never mind. Okay, which is the next episode after that. Okay, so yeah, but in Star Trek Online, Adam, they do. I can get you to play a great video game where those little bug things come back. And try to take over the VOD war. It's a whole thing. It was supposed to be part of a
yeah,
trilogy.
they sent the message to them, and they were gonna. Yeah, okay. Revisit that the ending.
The Riker strike. All right. Well, thank you, Sam. All right. Well, on that note, guys, we'll sign off for tonight. We'll play maybe a little Riker trombone action to close this out. You know.
Got a bone for me.
Wow. Yeah, I'm with Jody.
Who needs 2 a.m.? This could be 9 o'clock, and I'm done.
I'm gonna do the upside down Spock today because
We'll
that's
see you next time. Oh, geez. All right.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.